Ladies and gentlemen, or grills and gents, welcome to Tape Propaganda Podcast, Season 18, Session 3. So, joining me today is my co host, Rob. Welcome
Hello.
again. I'm glad that we're doing three podcasts in a row. This is definitely a record for some time. So, today we're
Yeah,
going
and
to
right in time too.
yeah,
Sunday
yeah,
morning
yeah.
would be
And
late.
this is, well, it's not, we could have done it, Saturday in the morning, so it could have been better. So, as always, according to tradition, we're going to start with Great Britain. I'm just kidding. There's
Oops.
really nothing to review. At least there's a golden age been popped. So, that's nice. Um, so, Great Britain died. So, we're going to actually start this with actually probably you would say with Medias, the new European power. But we're going to start with the Netherlands. Um, as the main money maker of the world, the trader of everything. Give me your overview.
Well, it's kinda done. Like
Hmm.
nobody will ever get close to the Netherlands on economic power. Madias might be able to mess with the Netherlands, but I don't see why
I
he would.
I'm not gonna go into details of this. So I guess Great Britain is secured, and then Medias rules the sea. Um,
Yep.
and he has a presence. But we'll talk more about the Medias. I kind of understand why they did it. I don't like how they did it. In terms of this, I think the Netherlands could have done it himself, maybe, but he chose the alliance there, and I guess Rustin is just going for the straight up economic superiority of the world and throw money at everyone else. At least he's
Well,
kind of
the
like the
issue,
land power. Hmm.
well, the issue is the Netherlands doesn't really have the naval quality to face Madias on the seas.
I'm gonna bet that they'll never fight a single war,
No, yeah,
like like a legitimate war. They will
no,
never
yeah,
have a
that's
disagreement. Hmm.
But the thing is, the Netherlands can't really fight Madias on the seas, I don't think, at least. Not a Madias who's had such a good start. So,
Yeah,
and
this kind of makes it boring. For me, I actually thought that there's going to be some sort of an engagement and some sort of a story to be told. I think this is just a boring solution. This is my opinion. It's like,
it was
for
a
example, I think we could also, what we can do, we can have France, Sweden, Prussia, Hungary, Commonwealth, Russia, Sweden, Mughals, Ram, Orissa, Manchu, just all ally and call it a day.
yeah, sure. But
Because
the issue is, why would the Netherlands try to fight Orissa if he knows he's going to lose?
you mean Medias?
Madias, yes, sorry.
Well, he wouldn't lose if he actually went some naval ideas and maybe other things and like diplomacy and stuff. We really don't know, right? Until it actually happens, because there's maneuvers you can do, positionings you can do, and a
Well,
war of
yeah,
attrition.
sure.
Hmm.
Assuming the Netherlands actually severely outplay the Madias, that might happen. But Madias is the player with a greater naval experience, as far as
Sure, yeah.
I know.
But
And
anyways,
Madias has just straight up better ideas for the fight.
sure, I agree with you on this. But again, Netherlands can always form Great Britain.
Yeah, he'd have to kick Madias off the islands for that.
Well, yes, I'm just saying that that could have always been an option in terms
Sadly,
of
that is.
this. But maybe everything's in the future. I just, but again, if people just want to do their own thing and let them, uh, because again, I don't think this is a super competitive thing. It's just that the only two naval powers in the world are allying one another, and of course there's a reasoning for this, and the story is told. I just think it's and I knew that Great Britain was going to die. I just the way it died for me was a little bit anticlimactic.
Yeah,
To say the least, and all the speculations that you and I did about the engagement and the battle for Africa and superiority, pretty much is decided. Medius rules the seas, and Netherlands rules the banks and the money flow, and then yeah. So
yeah. Speaking of the Netherlands hasn't popped his
Golden Age.
colonial missions.
Oh, colonial missions. Okay. Oh, missions. I mean, okay, Dutch missions. Is there actually? I wonder if I don't think he's going to colonize. That's the thing. I think it would be really nice to see him colonize because the area is completely off limits, and actually to see what happens in the new world, because it looks to me that both the sleeping giant and Brazil are going to be left, unless of course Feldspite does something, but I think they're going to be left to their own devices. And it's actually interesting because, for example, the Netherlands actually can attack Great Britain and take some of the colonial colonies, like, for example, the British West Indies. And I think it will be a very interesting move because all that trade as of right now, I guess it's flowing upwards, but colonists equal more merchants. He already has the merchants, but nevertheless, I think it will be very interesting play. But
are we going to see an assault by the East and the West on the colonial regions?
What do you mean?
Well, Japan was, at least looked like he was gearing up to jump into California. Does he still have? Yeah, he still has exploration ideas.
Yeah, I mean they are colonizing. We'll get to the Japan. So let's go down the order. Yeah, we'll go down the order. That's a really great thing. Let's raise that question up when we get there. So anyways, the Netherlands here doing good, money maker. Great.
It's rusting. It's a solid nation.
Yes.
Has a solid alliance with France, although that might not be something that remains for a very long time.
Why? What do you think that?
Well, France is kind of killing itself.
Well, yes. So the really interesting development of France killing themselves and taking 37,000 ducats worth of debt when you don't need to do it, and running, for me that's a little bit interesting because he thought that everything he's gonna get occupied, but I don't see how Switzerland could have occupied nothing that he needs to death war. I think he kind of just panicked because he really has a lot of development and a lot of forts, and it would have taken if this was like Switzerland controlled all of this, like Prussia, Swiss, parts of Commonwealth and Hungary, and the Netherlands, I would say, yeah, you might want to panic and get ready for a death war. But I think he took a little bit too much. He knows this. So let's just go into, he's actually getting subsidized by the Netherlands. So we know he's going to bankrupt. So about this war, right? So the PLC was attacked by Switzerland and Hungary. Swiss attacked Commonwealth. And then France joined to protect Switzerland. Hungary joined in the war against the Commonwealth. And so the Swiss actually went, but the majority of the forces went to the west. It was playing kind of offensive, then it was playing defensive. France couldn't break them. And then after a few, every time he couldn't break them, Swiss took a fort, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Swiss has great generals, great ideas and stuff like that. And this is kind of, as I said last, France is the guy who is going to, rule Western Europe. For me now, that balance of power, I mean, France is still strong, but he has to bankrupt. It's going to be devastation to the entire country. A lot of things are going to change. Switzerland is in a position where he's going to expand to PLC. I'm not sure if he's going to take something from France or not. But yeah, this is a definitely. I don't understand this move personally. I think he should have gobbled up more of Spain. Maybe even allied with the Papal States, landed on the Papal States beforehand, so he could cross into Spain, African Spain, and eat more land. So for me, this move, it's kind of strange. Yeah.
Well, it does a lot to, to swing what used to be at least a very strong nation into one whose future is kind of up there.
I mean, it's France. It's gonna be. He is still well built, right? He's still production is built out. Manufacturers, he can definitely build more. So this is so much more. Holy crap! He could have built a lot more. That's a lot of money. Yeah, for me, this is this. I think he, at a certain point.
This is also really not the age to attack a big Switzerland.
Yes, I agree. I agree with you.
Because, I mean, if you look to Switzerland, something like half his tax are mercenaries.
Yes.
That's a massive, just straight up quality advantage the Swiss player has.
Yes. Yeah, if this was a different age...
I'm sorry, but some of these companies have almost 300,000 manpower. You're not depleting that.
Yes. I agree. And France really overcommitted, and I think he realized his mistake. But this is just if we talk about the development of this, what do you think would be the outcome of this European war?
I mean, so far, I really don't see how the Commonwealth or France can swing it around. Like, the Commonwealth is currently winning the fight with Hungary, but that will only last so
No,
long.
he's not. Well, he's winning one fight, but they're minus 43 war score.
Yeah, but what I mean is, yeah, because he has the parts which Switzerland occupied originally. But what I mean is, like, PLC can beat Hungary in a straight off 1v1, but the issue is
He can't.
Sweden and
He
Russia
can't.
are knocking.
He can't even. We'll get to that, but he can't. So, I guess let's review again. So it's just one big conflict, and I kind of want to continue the thing about
Yeah, okay.
going back and forth. So let's go over the events of France before even this, and we'll talk about the war when we will review the Switzerland, Hungary, Prussia. I think we're going to go in that because there's a lot of like Prussia appeared, right? So there's a reason why it appeared, and so with France killed Spain even harder, right? So we had a sub. He attacked. He truce broke, actually, I think once or twice on Spanish Iberia. He took more land. He took more forts. He became Lord of Iberia. Again, kind of strange for me that he didn't take more land, but it's like, whatever.
It's also kind of strange which land he chose to take. Because, yeah, he continued his snake to Gibraltar, but
Mhm.
the Asturias estate in which he started taking, it's just not very valuable.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I think the main thing was taking the forts and closing the crossing. And that was like the main thing. But I agree with you. He could have taken, for example, Valencia. It's a trade. Toledo. I mean, it's a capital, but it's like Sevilla and Cadiz. These are trade centers. He could have taken that. Focus more on the trade centers, right? Perspective wise. And even if you don't take like Gibraltar, you really don't care about that because you're still in control of the entire area. And taking more of the trade, you would actually, contest more of it. And I think that could have been a much better move. He could have easily had the majority share of the trade in the in the Iberian region, and I think that could have been much better for him long term because he could have flown it all the way to Valencia or maybe even collected it in Seville, right? Or actually just exactly collected it in Valencia because it would be flowing downstream, and Aragon would be pulling more of it. So I think that could have been a much better move. So not really sure about that. And also, we transition into Spain. The Spanish players coming back in. Tell me, is there going to be a small fix for Spain because it was AI controlled? Because it took like I think corruption or anything like that. Are we doing like at least raising it to Tech 12 or no?
I am honestly not certain. Did we actually get a safe fix request?
I don't know. So I mean, if he can, I mean, just a little bit, even in terms of because it was still AI controlled for a little bit. And what happened was, and this is one of the reasons why we're implementing the rule about the 1 year protection. At least we might extend it to a little bit more. And we'll see from the experience, is because, and this is nothing against the French player at all. I think this is a good learning experience for us because what happened is when the second there was a Spanish player, France attacked him, when the Spanish player was not paying maintenance for the troops because it was AI, right? So it's just one of those things why there's this rule change. So it gives people time to prepare and stuff like that, and I think it worked well with the ROM. So anyways, we'll talk more about Spain, but as of right now, Spain is really behind on everything. He had to go through bankruptcies, but he still can really do something if left. It's just now becoming a minor power.
We have to remember that Spain used to be allied to Switzerland.
Yes.
So if France seeing how France is doing pretty badly on that front, a Spanish revival is actually probably a lot more likely than it seems.
Maybe you got to do the diplomacy here. The only thing, it's one of those things. You gotta see. It really depends. Also, the Netherlands' position in this case, and the Papal States. So Switzerland. Switzerland is very, very strong. So let's give them that. Anyways,
I don't think the Netherlands can't actually even bankroll France out of this bankruptcy. So
no. Well, It can.
Not without absolutely hobbling his own economy.
Uh,
France is losing something like 300 ducats a month.
no. Yes, because he is way over and he is reinforcing. So, for example, if we take all the mercenary stacks and delete them, right, and let's say that the France says, "Okay, I am done. This war is over. Please peace me out." He cuts it down to 100K. He uses the money to pay back the loans that he took. His interest rate is 64, which is pretty huge. He has 22K debt, so yeah, he probably has to bankrupt regardless. But theoretically, it's still possible that he doesn't need to bankrupt if the Netherlands and say the Pope helps him. Right? Because all he really needs to do is say, okay, this war is lost. Let's move on, and all he needs to do is stop paying for his troops, stop paying for parts of his forts, and just sit there, right? So
Yeah, and I've just read he's actually not a co-belligerent
he's what?
in a war. He doesn't have his own independent war of Switzerland. He's actually in as an ally of.
Yes. So
So
exactly.
he can't actually lose much.
Well, the thing is, like, why would they take land for France if they can take much more from the PLC, right? I just don't think it makes sense.
Well, if France surrenders independently, they can still probably take his
But
forts.
they could do that. Sure, they could do that. But then France doesn't need to surrender at that point, right? Then because the longer this side of the front goes, the more the Netherlands also. I mean, the more the Swiss actually lose as well. So let's use this to segue into Swiss.
Sure.
Switzerland. So if you look at Switzerland, he actually took a loan. I know it's funny. However, he's also minus
He's about to take
159.
a whole lot more of those.
Yes. So he's about to take more loans. So the question is it so your opponent is going to bankrupt or is in a bad situation? Do you really want to keep the war going so you might get a little bit of like land or war score? Probably not, because theoretically, PLC can just surrender at any point.
Yeah, sure, but look at the land he could take. Like, France is a fantastic place to dev, but that kind of has, the other side of the coin, which is it's a terrible place to defend.
Yes, I mean, he could take the land. I agree with you. Like, for example, he can take some more places, but I mean, he can take, like, for example, Metz. I guess that would be an interesting place to take.
If he takes,
It's cold.
Salin,
He can't take that
Salin.
much. He can't take that much.
He can take 2 provinces.
I mean, yeah, but
It's like 18% war score.
he's not co-belligerent.
Well, that's like 30% war score. If he can manage it, and that means he has just plains and grasslands in front of him to go to Paris.
But again, it's taking more. I guess he could take more money from France as well to pay off his loans. So it really what depends on what happens more in this war. But I mean,
I guess it depends on how much do you think Poland is going to resist.
Yeah. But I mean, in this case, for example, tag France. France was marching to attack into the woods. So the Swiss armies. I mean, what does he have? 388K. I mean, he's still also reinforcing quite a lot. So I guess he can do it, but it's going to be a bloody battle.
Well, yeah, sure.
Defensive. Is it scorched?
France
No.
is running out of money.
Huh? What is?
Yeah, France has almost no manpower.
Yeah, it's
He can-
Merck's battles, but also Switzerland burned. I think he had like 20 professionalism. It's all gone as well.
Well, Switzerland had to burn because he was going to recruit mercs.
Yeah, but I wonder if he actually took the manpower or not. Yeah, so
I think I heard him saying that he burned at the beginning. So
Okay.
I would imagine yes.
Okay. So, I mean, Crownland's deft, so he's going to be going more into manpower. Yeah, no, Switzerland is in a great position. The enemy in the east, in terms of Commonwealth, is going to be defeated. France is weakened. There's Prussia. Pope is kind of also behind. I think Switzerland is probably
I
one.
don't think Pope is trying to expand into Europe.
No, he's not. No, he's not. I'm just saying that Switzerland is in a really good position. The only thing here, unless he has sort of like a trade deal, I'm not sure what's going on there. Switzerland eventually is the trade 35 ducats. Production is really good. He's destroying the taxes. So I'm actually wondering how much more can the Swiss actually expand his, because he has a lot of manufactories. Holy shit! Oh wait, it wasn't manufactories. He doesn't have too many manufactories. Like how much more can he actually build out in terms of economics? Unless the Netherlands
Well,
gives him
that's
money.
probably why. That's probably why he's invading Poland.
What do you mean?
Well, Poland has a lot of really nice land for them.
Yes, but Deving, I'm talking about trade and economics, because
Ah,
the main 32 ducats in Pest, uh, not even that much in Venice. So like, there's just not a lot of trade in this region. A lot of it is, I mean, again, I guess you have Constantinople. Getting Constantinople will also speed up the thing. But then there's if there's Constantinople, you're all of a sudden facing Mughals and Mamluks, which will be formed by Ethiopia. But anyways, yeah, it will be interesting to see. But I think Swiss, and of course Nibber did an excellent job building out the country. Looks very, very strong. And if
yeah,
he forms Poland,
might want to have a talk with Prussia, who's stealing 6.5 ducats from his node, which it's a fifth of your trade money.
yeah, yeah, but
something
that
about it.
no. That thing is gonna. You have to kill Prussia for that to stop flowing, pretty much, because if it doesn't flow into Prussia, it will flow somewhere else. If Prussia removes that merchant, and
mean-
Chile, the Chile is pulling, for example, is gonna flow. Those ducats are gonna flow into Venice.
I mean, to be entirely honest, Prussia's not doing much for Switzerland.
Sure. And then in this case, it's absolutely true. So Prussia has to tiptoe very carefully in regards to his diplomacy. So let's go to, I guess, Prussia next. Prussia formed. So that was very unexpected for me. He's behind in tech. I don't like that move at all. In terms of military tech, I guess he was deving, but even in peacetime, prepare for war. And he's kind of behind on this. His inflation is up, but he turned this around. So Bag of Cans came to me and asked me about the thing about like going to Poland, and I gave him a reason basically to say no, I'm not gonna do it. And when he was attacked, and he was doing very well, and he got the morale events, and he started kicking, I guess, PLC's ass. Up to a point because he merked up, took loans the correct way because his land was getting occupied, so he took a lot of loans. He actually did very well against PLC, and PLC entered that war thinking that, I have a really big dick, I'm just going to roll over Prussia. But Sweden came in, Prussia came in, he had a morale advantage, and PLC was not ready for this war, so I don't think he actually had his national idea set discipline closed. He might have had an advisor going, but he didn't actually use the icon either. So he didn't have the icon, and he actually popped the mission fighting Prussia very early on before he even switched to an icon. And I think it took him time to really gather momentum, and then he got like stack wiped. So the war for Prussia formation, Prussia was really born out of blood and steel. Literally born out of blood and steel. Yeah, so this is a well-deserved Prussia in terms of its formation. However, I have to say it's still very weak. He needs to realize his geopolitical situation in the world, that he is a minor. As you had some notes about him as well. About his militarization is actually negative.
Yeah. He's actually gone over his government capacity, which means that he will lose militarization of country. Now, one of the big things about the new Prussia is that you cannot get a choice between going over the governing capacity and then using militarization as a short-term boost, or staying under it and having a plus. How much was it? Give myself meal so I can check. Wait, can he not? Why can I not click the button? Okay, that's weird. Seems to be bugged for me. Basically,
I
you
actually
can
can't
either
click it.
have all-
There might be something here in the maybe in the government.
or maybe we just have to wait 1 day or something.
Maybe
Doesn't
maybe
matter.
we do, yeah. So
But
about
basically, the idea is you can have full militarization constantly, or you can have it tick down like it used to do.
So in this case,
That's
I
one
mean,
of the reasons actually why I think admin is not a bad idea for Prussia. at least
I
later on.
think I've seen a lot of Prussias go admin, or you go super tall, but we'll see. I don't know. In this current, I mean, yeah, you just need to get development cost has been reduced. And his products, I mean, it's quite possible. Think of this: he's got to catch up on ideas because he's making 55 ducats right now. If he actually catches up in all his tech, it goes up to 57. I guess you got to wait for it to tick up a little bit, and maybe getting the inflation down as well to get it up. But he just needs to sit dev and figure out what to do next. He's actually, what was his mission? Expand trade company. Okay. But he really needs, like, a lot of the trade is getting sucked out of Lubeck. He has absolutely nothing there. And I guess in this case, Sweden and Prussia are kind of suffocating one another. But both of them exist and they're allies, right? They can defend one another. So it really depends on the situation. So Prussia formed, it's a really good, of course, mid-game to late-game country. Amazing. He just needs to build out, find the money. And if PLC dies, he can get some land from PLC as well. So, you know, it's in his interest. Tiptoe very
yes,
carefully.
but how much can he get?
Even getting the Western Prussia state and the East Prussia state would be enough for him. Let's be honest.
I mean, it'd be nice for him, but I don't know if... Because one of the issues with this Prussia is that long term, it'll get absolutely boxed in.
But it's a Prussia, it can go tall. Right? So yes, I agree,
Yeah.
but look at the land. Majority, it's not developed to 10 or to 20. So there's definitely...
It's decently built up, and built up in a sense that clearly indicates that he plans to dev at least for one building slot.
he can still dev a lot. He can build a lot. He just needs to find the money here, to be honest with you, more than anything else. And then when he has full militarization, you know, he's going to punch above his weight because it's a Prussia. He's got to close out his ideas. He's got to increase militarization. And then you basically, whatever happens, Prussia can go, once he finishes all of that and powers up, if he has the chance, I think that late game he can, you know, definitely punch above his weight. And for the lands that he can get or could get, you know, go for like 30 dev provinces and you'll be okay.
Well,
Right.
but who is he going to punch above his weight against?
That's a good question.
Because Switzerland already has excellent quality. It's not a normal Austria.
Sure.
Poland is probably not... maybe going to survive this. I'm not very sure. He's got a very strong Sweden right above him.
He's going to be, first of all, he's going to be stronger than Sweden, right? I don't know. It's a very interesting case. We'll see. So he's got a
Stronger than Sweden?
I don't know. I maybe hopefully
I think Sweden's going to have a better economy than he does.
it just really
And
depends.
Sweden's
It depends.
quality
It
is
depends.
nothing
It
to sneer
depends on the blocks. It really depends on the blocks and what happens. So I'm not 100% sure here. Really, I cannot tell you this. I just that.
Well, we'll get to see.
Yeah, we'll get to see on this. Let's go to Sweden. So Sweden is actually in his first player war, and I'm gonna say this war is because Sweden really wanted it, and so the war happened. I was okay with sitting there and doing absolutely nothing, but you know, Sweden decides. But yeah, his troops are drilled. Not the greatest generals, but again, he's definitely he's at his force limit. The country recovered from what it was, and I'm glad that he followed my advice and practiced during the middle of the week. He is looking much better than he was. He needs to definitely fix and integrate Norway. But yeah, he turned Orthodox, so he has the quality. He really needs to start deving. I'm glad that he caught up in tech. But he needs to start deving his land because he has a lot of great land that he can still dev, and he'll be in a better, in a good shape. But I'm glad that the player recovered, and some of our minor, newer players are doing better than before.
Yeah, he's got a whopping 125 discipline.
Uh,
Oh yeah, because he has got the icon.
yes, and icon. So yeah, he's kicking ass in that case. So yeah, and he's got the icon. So definitely.
Yeah, it's 30% infantry combat ability at 125 discipline. That is no joke.
Yep. Yeah. So
He has gone above his leader limit, which is
he has gone above.
yeah. Ah no, one is his ruler. Okay.
No. He's absolutely fine. He could go a little bit above it, but
It costs you military power. That's death you don't get. He's also got a fantastic ruler.
yeah, 345 plus construction costs. So hopefully, we'll see what happens because this is his first war. I guess his main objective is the Livonian Order, because I believe that he really wanted this land from the very beginning, and I'm not sure what happened with him diplomatically with Alan, but I don't think he got what he wanted, and Alan expanded that way, and that pretty much set the two countries as rivals from the beginning.
Well,
Um,
yeah,
mhm.
Poland seems to have done some major diplomatic blunders.
Yes, I agree. I think in this case, and now I can say this, what happened last week. So Poland came to me earlier on, and he wanted to, basically, he said, we can be friends if you drop Sweden as an ally. I'm like, why? Well, I'm going to kill Brandenburg, and then go for Lubeck. That was his diplomacy. So we can be friends if you drop Sweden. I'm like, okay, maybe. I mean, I talked to Sweden about it and warned him. I didn't say anything to Brandenburg in this case because it would happen way too late, and he already knew this by the time it came because basically PLC, Switzerland just said okay because he was at that time contesting France and he didn't know what was going to happen. So he just came up swinging, saying this is my diplomacy, and he didn't even say like what do you want for it. He just says I'm going to take Lubeck, and if you're going to contest me, we're going to be enemies. And I guess it's
Yeah, you
not.
don't necessarily want to threaten the guy you need a peaceful border with.
Yes, exactly. So, but I wasn't joining against them in terms of Brandenburg and Sweden and Brandenburg did their thing, and I was actually very surprised. And I think a lot of it was because how sloppy Alan fought the wars. Again, not preparing for it, overestimating your own strength. And it's so in this case, big power to Sweden for sticking it through, for Prussia fighting the thing, and I mean for Brandenburg for fighting. And here we are in a position of where Sweden is going to his war. This is literally Sweden's war in terms of getting the Livonian Order. So his chance and a moment of glory and expanding there. So yeah.
Yeah, Sweden really needs to take some control over the Baltic Sea trade node because that's a lot of trade he's getting absolutely nothing from.
Sure. I completely agree with you on that. So, nevertheless, that's the situation. So I think Sweden recovered, looking really nice. It is Orthodox for a majority of it. It's being converted just a little bit, but those centers will go away eventually. But yes, so looking good. Anyways, let's go to PLC. Actually, no. Before we go to PLC, let's go to Hungary.
Yay!
So
Big
Hungary
best.
actually, popped his golden age. He
Still hasn't gotten the Ragusan trade node from Rome, which is interesting.
because I think he was AFK, and then this war happened. So there's a lot of things. Remember that?
Yeah, but look at the trade. He's getting everything. So
Oh yeah. He's getting everything. So there's absolutely no point even to getting that land because it all falls to him regardless. So
Well, I mean, it's
land is
always
land is land,
production
but
and how-
Pes is 40 ducats. That's really impressive, right? He's getting land out of trade out of Crimea. He's pulling trade out of Constantinople, and then he is pretty much controlling. The only thing is that Trent is pulling the trade. If Trent would have been gone, it would not be pulling those 6.5 ducats. So this is a really strong Hungary. He just took his first loan. It's making 146 ducats, which is huge. 18 ducats from gold. Um,
he's about to eat into his balance the moment he starts reinforcing.
yeah,
He's
but like for
running a
example,
in the middle of war.
yeah, for example, he got the Moldavia province for free from the first war. By the way, he did a diplomatic maneuver where he did not defend Brandenburg, and so he got that.
Shit for free. Is very
Yeah,
much,
it's that's how he rolls. He just gets shit for free. But this war is not getting his shit for free unless Alan surrenders to him. But they're gonna take, if they do, they're gonna take pretty much 100 war score, unless I mean, plus 50, 90 to like 100 war score here, right? And the amount of land that they can take.
I mean, if
Can I?
Alin wants to resist, which I'm not certain I would suggest. Like, what are the forts? Like, you can just. I'm not even sure why Finvest is fighting where he is. Like, he can just walk into Poland through the south.
I think they're. I don't know.
Okay, there is a fort in Poland.
It's a fort. Yeah, it's a fort, and the generals aren't as good. And yeah, but they can take basically the heartland of Poland, right? They can. I mean, Krakow. Jeez.
Yeah, but it's a really, like, it's not a really good fight into that.
What do you mean?
Um,
They were Warsaw, by the way.
Yeah, they're fighting.
They got pushed back. Well, because PLC pushed back. PLC pushed back Hungary because he took major loans, and actually the Papal States is giving 40 ducats a month of subs to the Commonwealth. So
I don't think that's gonna stay.
I don't think so either. I think it's gonna end very, very soon.
Yeah,
It's not good. It's not good for Pope, and we'll get to Pope afterwards here. Let's not forget
Pope
that.
is kind of the Pope, both Pope and Sardinia Piedmont are kind of like the two Europeans of the zone, which just are looking.
Yeah, we'll get to that. In terms of Hungary, so he popped his golden age, and after this war, if he wins, is gonna be really nice for him for deving and for building, and he can, do a lot of things. He has 63 next election, so he went with my favorite, with States General, very, very nice, really good ruler. So he can definitely dev. This is looking really strong for them because no matter, even if he takes like 3,000 loans here, his opponent's going to be dead. He's going to be looking at a Ruthenia formation as I am pretty sure he's going to go. He's going to get.
He hasn't popped the mission for the claims though.
He's going to pop it. So it's one of those things. It's going to happen, right? So we can Poland. Yeah, he's gonna get and then Jagiellonian Union. He can take a union. It's pretty funny. But yeah, so it's happening. He looks like he's in a really good position. I mean, is there anything else to add here?
No,
for Hungary wise, yeah, Hungary is, and then yeah, he can pretty much they're all over force limit. He can run on mercs, and
the difference is he can pay for it.
He can pay for it, but the thing is, even with this, is that all Switzerland needs to do, I don't know if he's trying to knock France out of the war or not, he can just retreat, stop on the offensive, retreat, take some more armies to the east, right? Do like the World War I style, and help your ally and just end the war there, because France is going to bankrupt, right? I don't know what's going to happen there, but so something's got to give, and Poland is. I just don't see Poland coming back here. We're not even talking about the Russian war. So let's go. Thank you. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's my Apple Watch. It's like, here's some information about Poland. Thank you for listening, Apple. I appreciate it. Anyways, PLC. So let's switch to PLC. So PLC actually is 103 ducats of income, but the subsidies is 40, right? So his trade is collapsed. His taxation is collapsed. Production is, I mean, going strong, but
Yeah, but he has no more professionalism. Has 60k manpower.
so if we take this, go to Pope, we're gonna say cancel subsidies. I'm gonna cancel subsidies, and we're gonna treat PLC without the subsidies.
Yeah, his negative balance doubles.
Yeah, negative 80 ducats, right? So he's basically taking his every single month. He's gonna be taking a loan. I think he can take out like 13 more thousand.
He's already at 20 loans.
I think he can take 13 more thousand. Let me see. 14. Yeah, he can take 14,000 ducats of loans, max. So
Yeah, but he has already started seriously merking up, and his companies are already in some cases running out of manpower.
are they? Okay.
Yeah, he's got like the free company at 5k manpower. The others are more filled, but his Novgorod company 24k manpower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can take two more merc companies for 48,000, and they have 130,000 manpower. So
Yeah, so he's running out of.
yeah, and he has 40,000.
Gigabytes.
He has 40,000 manpower left in the bank, before this battle concludes. So let's say I'm gonna retreat just to see how much he needs to. Okay, this is artillery army. So he is pretty much running on mercs already. He has what? Yeah, the Grand Company is at 32 strength. I mean 719 infantry. It needs to reinforce 32,000. So that's going to be drained. It's overall, it's not really looking good for him, and I guess the independent army still has 103k, but it needs to reinforce 35,000. So, yeah.
It's not looking fantastic.
Yeah, and the main thing is the timer of the bankruptcy, and I just think that the diplomacy was a little bit too aggressive. And I actually talked to
A little bit.
I think I talked to Arvente about it, and he said, especially if you have the age bonus start in 1480 or 1490 at least when you pop it, all you really need to do is the PLC just sit in dev, because they're really getting the losing Königsberg and the formation and things like that was super bad. And I think as PLC at this point, all you need to do is sit in dev, and that's it. Let prosperity spread and dev all your lands, and then later on come out on top, come out swinging. And I think a lot of people, as I said, don't want to sit in dev, which is perfectly fine, but
Yeah,
you know,
it has a cost.
it has a cost, right? And like for example, he didn't even
He's also
pop.
he's making a very interesting. And by interesting, I mean that I really do not approve of its choice. With
Have at least 5. He doesn't have 5 churches.
He
Really?
doesn't have 5 church.
Yeah, for his mission. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he doesn't have 5 churches. Did he start? Yeah, he started demolishing base tax. There you go. That's why his country sucks. So he started demolishing base tax and deving manpower, but that's why he has
Yep.
2,000 manpower, but he doesn't have the economy to support it. So he did the Gibraltar move. So
That's an interesting move, I guess.
yeah, it's a little bit early. So his estate land. It's Slachta. So he's doing that, but it's I think it was definitely the wrong move. Removing all that tax so early on, and not using this time.
Especially for Poland, who tends to have economic issues.
Yes, because you definitely have I think the way this has to be played is you take like a state, let's say like Kuyava, right? Kuyavia, it's right next to, or Mazovia. Let's take, or no, Kuyava, it's really low dev. It's 743. You remove all the tax there, and then you dev that province, and then you move on to the next one. You remove tax maybe like 3 states completely and dev those, and leave the tax everywhere. And once you finish with those, you can start slowly removing tax across the board. But you, as Poland, you definitely have a lot to build, and not even having the 3. Wait, does he have the 3 churches? He doesn't, right?
Wait,
And
I've just noticed. Did you notice he's building regimental camps right now, like mad?
interesting move.
Like, sorry, building regimental camps is a really nice move.
Yeah,
The
but
middle
he,
of a war is not really the time to do it.
Yeah,
because
it's
even
too
if
late.
He doesn't end up building, he doesn't. What the fuck is he supposed to do with that force limit? He has neither the manpower
well,
nor
well,
the
he's
manpower
building
to
it
figure
for
out.
He's building it for Poland and Hungary. So it's a nice investment for them. Anyways, he also has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 manufactories. I think it is tag from all the great powers. It's the lowest, and it's okay. So Sweden has 1, 2, 3. So he's above Sweden, but for a great power, he does Spain have some manufactories? No, but Spain isn't a great power. So, yeah. So he is. Oh, he's not. He was not a great power, actually. But I consider the PLC a great power because because you've been in this, you have your age bonus, and what has he been doing with his with his stuff? Is he been building production buildings, but those aren't finished. Oh, he built a lot of forts. 1, 2, 3. So he built forts, and then regimental camps. Yeah. So he built 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Most
8,
of
9,
the
10, 11.
forts are not really worth much, though. I mean, Poznan and Wroclaw.
I think they did it
That-
because of the last war. Last war. Oh, and then he built some local manpower buildings. Yeah, so this is what happened. This is exactly so people prepare to build their country for war, but they don't build it for economy, and they collapse like this. Because I think PLC should be making about 130, 140 ducats right now, just because of the trade that you get from manufactories and stuff like that, and the tax and the production. Maybe not 140, but again, it's his age.
30.
Making maybe 120 ducats. I think that should be a norm for PLC during this age, because like for example, he's in Krakow. Is he even? He's like transferring it. Like I don't know. I don't know.
But because he's transferring it to the Baltic Sea.
Yeah. He's also missing
What
a
he-
lot in Crimea. He could be like, but it's like, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know. Yeah, it's just a lot of like not enough merchants. Yeah.
Another really interesting pick is if you look at his government reforms, Poland has unique reforms at tier 5. In particular, he has one that gives +1 to every skill of your local hero.
Which? Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Tier,
And he didn't pick it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
yeah, that's +1 to every stat. That's fucking huge.
Yeah, anyways, let's move on. So anyways, PLC isolated diplomatically, did not build his country up. And yeah, and I think made some really cocky mistakes in terms of war against Brandenburg. I think that's my review for PLC.
Okay, wanna jump into the toothpaste, or do we go to the Pope straight up?
Well, I think toothpaste, and I'll give credit to the player for sticking it. I think it's a new player. So toothpaste, in terms of this, is okay in tech. He doesn't have the manpower dev at all. He doesn't have the force limit, so I think toothpaste is waiting to be eaten, and I think that's what's going to happen. I'll give him props for this, is that he's actually staying up on tech, on his mill ideas, and
He has been selling titles.
yes, so I think we've seen a improvement from this player. The thing here is that he's not military dev'd like at all, and in this cases, this is one of the places you do deplete the tax in order to dev push your military. And very unfortunate turn of events, and then he just didn't expand fast enough. I don't think he made good enough diplomacy, and I don't see him living past this session. Even if he does, he's just not strong enough. I don't know, maybe as a march or something, but like he's just stealing trade, the land and stuff like that. So I don't see him living so on. But overall, I think I will commend the player that he did well. Could have done better, of course, but I guess if you're not a very experienced player, you're alive in 1558 as an Italian minor, and yeah, so for that. So in terms of this, that's all I can say. But
well, he has survived getting nommed on by Switzerland and
yes,
France. Still
yes.
playing, that's
So
big to be commended.
yes. So, anyways, I think he should have been more aggressive towards eating Italy, and especially against Pope, and he could have secured northern Italy much faster, and maybe did an alliance with Switzerland. But we'll see what happens. Anyways, let's go to Pope. Papa. So the Pope man. So Pope man. Making money but losing it at the same time because of this. I actually canceled. I canceled the interesting. And so what do you want to talk about with the Pope? Force limit is 178, pretty good.
It's a very solid economy for being a relatively minor European player.
No. This is Pope. Look at his ideas. 20%, 10% efficiency, 20% tax. Plus, he's actually supposed to be much higher than this, because he is sharing the node with. He doesn't have full control of Genoa, and that Venice is not delivering a lot of the income it's supposed to be delivering. So he's actually behind on trade. So he should be much stronger. And also, if you go through the buildings, like production is all filled out, which is great. Taxes, not so much. But manufactories, he hasn't built any single manufactories, because of, he can't he? Let's say cash 4,000. Yeah, he needs tech. That's the thing. So he needs tech. He needs to save up money for that.
He also needs to improve his trade center on the Venice trade now.
Yes, he definitely needs to do this. I would agree with you 100%. Get that up. It's also really good for deving. Like this, getting this area maybe to level 3, which helps you dev this entire area. Plus, it does the other bonuses, and you'll have more power in Venice. But definitely, yeah. So there's definitely some things that he can build, at least save money for later on. Maybe also accepting some cultures, like for example Tunisian. Maybe even Tuscan and Neapolitan, because it's not that much of a difference, but it gives you 10% more, 15% more tax, 15% more power, manpower, and over 300, 400 years, that 15% really adds up, especially in this area. And so, yeah, I think he should have definitely done it. But yeah.
All right, and the Pope can never go above kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a pain and a half.
Yeah. So he needs to get Kingdom of God, yeah. And I think he can. And I think he can do it.
Yeah, but because on top of it, he's going to be very short on accepted cultures because he's a theocracy.
Oh yeah. By the way, for Spain, the AI embraced Counter-Reformation. That's what that was, and the idea costs are much more expensive, and the tech cost is much more expensive. There you go.
Okay, yeah.
That needs to be removed and say fix the loop for Spain. Now I remember Arvente talking about it. So yeah, I don't think the Spanish player really looked at his country. Maybe hopefully he did Diplo. But anyways, so that's the thing. Also, Navy, he's paying extra for Navy for some reason. If you're not going to be upgrading it, might as well mothball it. and not be paying for it. But yeah, slowly. Also, not converting anything. I wonder why.
Yeah, I'm not certain who he has that navy to fight against.
I mean, there's always rum. I'm not sure what is happening there, but a navy is a navy. But yes, I would agree. That's why I would say mothball it. But he definitely needs it to transport to Africa. And if you see this, actually, he really expanded into Africa. So he has a lot of
At
land.
the same time, his fleet is only costing him 3 ducats and a half.
Yes,
Which
but three
some-
ducats. But 3 ducats over 50 years, it's a lot. So,
Yeah, sure.
anyway, so he has air. He can actually start annexing a lot of those vassals, which is going to be really good for him. And he can be converting that land. He also have Papua New Guinea. Can did he state it? What? Can we just like make this?
I
He can just
Okay,
make
no,
this. He can just make this as trade companies, right?
Yeah, well, he has the only one he has stated is the one with the 2 gold mines.
I mean, it's fine. It's going to really stimulate his economy. Yeah, this is really nice. So he can definitely expand there. He needs to start annexing Mossy, I think, right? Because it has good provinces that he can build, or maybe Air first and then Mossy, just so
Yeah,
it's
but
closer.
the issue there is that he can't really bring Timbuktu and trade into him because it flows into.
It's not about
Morocco.
that. It's about building. It's about building
yeah.
spots, and then he can, in terms of wait, Timbuktu, it's not that much to be honest with you. And he can make a trade company, and he can get a merchant, and maybe collect on location. But he can at least get a merchant there. But the main thing is, getting just getting more land, getting it, starting annexing it now. And it takes 1,000. He's going to be a while that he needs to do this, but he got to get air in because it gives you more land to build. You can convert it, you can build it, and it's going to be good for him. Because there's some cattle. This is manpower right here in Africa, so it's going to be good for him. So Pope, well, going to Rome. So Rome formed.
Yeah, and has survived a lot longer than I thought he would,
Yes.
giving up the good fight.
Yeah, so Rum is going to get a little bit of a safe fix because it was AI control for 2 hours, which is the Rum had a 600 for 2 hours, which he picked himself and did a remove. And the AI did. And also the military focus was taken away from military to whatever it is now. So that definitely...
He doesn't have a. He doesn't
Yes,
have a
there was the military focus, which the AI removed. So, and then spend down a lot of cash. So Rum is going to get a little bit of safe fix. It's still doable, still playable. Hopefully the player has done some Diplo. I know Arvente was going to take over the nation, but the player came back and told me he's 100% he's going to be here from now on, and all that. So we'll
That's
see.
a champ then.
Yeah,
Coming
that's
back to a nation.
no. It's Arvente was going to take over. So Arvente is the fucking champ. I love the.
Arvita will jump into your house, but
Yeah, it's like we can rebuild this. Lily. We can rebuild this. I love his enthusiasm. Is like especially remember when he played Austria, which was getting gobbled up slowly, but he fucking played it. So go him. High respect for the player. But yes, so Rum's gonna get a little bit of safe fix. I'm not sure how well it's even gonna do anything for him in this case, but
Well, I think the biggest issue for him is Mughals and Ethiopia are just going to take turns beating him down if he doesn't get away.
yeah.
Because his economy is doing really decent for the kind of war he's fighting. Like he's
Yes.
only losing 2 ducats and he's only 2,000k in debt. But
Mhm.
like even if he somehow wins the war against Mughals and Ethiopia doesn't intervene before.
Well, Ethiopia is coming because he wants the Mamluk formation. So, but
Yeah,
I
he
think
has
this
that-
is
he has that
there
proof,
has
and
to
I
be
don't-
some diplomacy being done, and I think maybe it's being done or not. We'll see what happens. But he can definitely, I think, do something here still. But we'll switch to Ethiopia still, but I love the formation. The shitty part is that because the player was AFK, this fucking happened. He would have been a lot stronger if the player was here. Um,
Oh yeah,
and
that
it's
was
just a little bit disappointment for me for that happened. But anyways, Rum farmed, which is pretty cool. Love the color, but we'll see what happens on
have
this.
2 toothpastes for the price of one.
Yeah, yes. Anyways, let's go to Ethiopia.
Yeah, Ethiopia, which was really the big boy of the last session, and has grown surprisingly little.
Well, yes, it's because Rum was AFK, and I knew that he is going to turn on him. However, Ethiopia did expand into Central Africa, and he is going to form Mamluks, right?
How
Somebody-
much does he need to actually? Oh, he can just do it now.
Where?
If you look at Ethiopia and you go to decisions, he can adopt Mamluk governments right now.
Oh, I don't see it. Unify Islam, confirm theocracy, establish Arakanam, found Indian Trade Company, Islamic Center of Scholar Learning, abolish elite armed regiments, and denounce sect practices. I don't see it.
What do you mean you don't?
I don't see it.
I'm looking at it right now.
I don't have it.
With the 2 conditions: own core province Cairo and Mamluk.
I will. Maybe it's glitched for me. I will send it to you the screenshot.
No, I perfectly believe you.
There it is. It's the screenshot is in.
What the fuck? Wait, could you look at he's accepted at his cultures?
Okay, what if I peace out? Cultures. Okay, yes.
What culture is he in your game?
Swahili? Oh, Amhara?
Okay, no. I have no idea why then. Because it's the same in... I thought maybe for some reason you had him on another culture, but...
Very strange. Maybe some time will pass. I will test it, but maybe it's just how the save is or something like that. Anyways, so
well, we had a borked save to remember, so...
Yeah, so anyways, he can actually rival quite a few people. Anyway, so Ethiopia economically grew 30 ducats this session. Main economy is still gold. He did expand, so he's going to form Mamluks. And does he get all the Mamluk cores? Can you do it in your thing?
Yeah.
Huh? And?
No, he doesn't. He just gets claims.
He just gets claims. Okay, but he can still... So Ethiopian missions. He can pop the Ethiopian missions, do the buildings, build up a treasury. Right? And then he can pop all of these missions, and then he can switch to Mamluks, and then he's going to be... He'll have those missions. But anyways, yeah, Ethiopia is doing very well. Manpower def...
Does get to pop high income, which is a fantastic mission to public.
Yes. So I mean, he's in a really strong spot here. Again, I think, as Rustin said, he hopes that Ethiopia will join the trade monopoly that he's building. So we'll see what happens. So if anything, there's more money coming that way, but eventually you lose your economic independence. And but yeah, so
you gain some sweet money.
Yeah, but he's also eating into, Central Africa, so that is all completely dominated by him. So we might see, if Rum falls, we might see a new threat to the into Europe, which is going to be Mamluks or Ethiopia. Maybe he'll even form Rum. Who knows? If that happens, but I doubt it, because Hungary, if Rum falls, Hungary is going to eat Constantinople and all that.
The issue of him trying to form Rome is that what's Mughals getting out of that?
Well, Mughals just getting Iraq area and maybe like Dulkadir or something. I'm not sure exactly what is besides like the Iraq area.
I don't know. Mughals hasn't Mughals deep below so far has triggered me as a very kind of aggressive expansionist thing. So I doubt he would be happy with just feeding the entirety of Rome to
Well,
Ethiopia.
but that's the thing. Like, why are you doing this? Besides getting the Iraq area, I mean, Hungary's going to get the if Rum falls, right? In this case, Hungary's going to get free land, right?
Yeah,
Ethiopia is going to get some land. It's not the greatest. Mughul's going to get Iraq, which is great,
that.
but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. By the
I wonder
way,
if the Pope is going to try to nab something because he's got a lot of islands in the zone.
I can see Papal States, Hungarian, Egypt, Hungary taking all of Anatolia. I can see that alliance happening. By the way, that alliance in my head would make sense.
Yeah, that would be an interesting thing for
Because
both of them.
also because Papal States is also interested because this way, once he consolidates, he can expand into Central Africa. By the way, right?
Yeah, and fight Ethiopia there.
Yeah. So
If necessary.
this will be, and then Hungary and Papal States could be natural allies if Hungary doesn't expand into Italy and Swiss doesn't expand to that. But again, it's one of those things. But it'll be a very interesting position in terms of alliance. First of all, they would counterweight Switzerland. They could counterweight France.
I don't think they would counterweight Switzerland if they're expanding that way. Because if they're expanding that way, then the natural answer for them is to try and befriend Switzerland so that Switzerland
No.
has.
I understand, but I'm just saying that if there's some sort of a trifecta, I don't know because I think Papal States should stay with France and kind of a balance of a thing. But I can see the Papal States on Hungary in this case being kind of allies, and if Rum does fall, expanding that way. And challenging maybe Mughals in Ethiopia, and because of the Western Pips, and the ideas, they're not that bad. I can see them really doing their thing, especially if Hungary forms Ruthenia.
Yeah,
So, I guess before we go, we cover Russia? I don't think we did.
I
No,
don't think. No, we did not.
no, we did not. So, anyways, yeah, Russia, it's there. It's
It exists.
it
It
exists.
has finally deigned to do something in the fucking game.
What do you mean?
Well, you kinda sat on your ass there. No, not much in the way of an early war.
Yeah, because I don't believe in early wars that much. It's not my playstyle, and I usually don't kill the PLC. But it's the
I mean, I can.
as I talked to Swiss and Hungary, we all agreed that the linchpin of the European um, diplomacy really depends on the decision of PLC and the randomness of it. And I don't think, because of the things, we all agree that this is not the alliance between the countries, but as a natural way to remove the unpredicted factor from there, and the partition of Sweden, Prussia, Switzerland, Hungary, and Russia all win in that. And but the main factor is the bad diplomacy that was done by him personally. I think if he
Yeah,
won
I'm sure it breaks your heart to murder him.
to be honest with you, I don't believe in killing PLC as Russia. I believe in the natural trifecta alliance of Sweden, Commonwealth, and Russia. And for me, this is actually, I think, my first PLC kill is Russia, unless I am somewhere mistaken. I never do this, right? But I see that Sweden needs to expand. There's a Prussia there, which is, by the way, if the it was the Sweden Russia Commonwealth alliance, Prussia would be dead, right?
Yeah,
And then Switzerland and Hungary were an alliance block. But for example, Bessarabia, Moldavia, right, definitely would not be Hungarian. Crimea would be
well,
absolutely PLCs.
the important province of Bessarabia, which is Bazarafold, was, I think, given to Hungary by Poland.
Yes, to expand into Crimea. But if the diplomacy was actually there, right, the trust was actually there, PLC would be in a much better position completely. It would
Yeah,
have full control of Crimea, absolutely full control of Crimea. Well, besides the Russian part, which is right now, right? It would have all that, so that trade would be flowing in. You would have Brandenburg will be completely dead, and then Sweden, and then both of them can threaten Switzerland, and Hungary, right? And then if
yeah,
anything, Big Daddy Russia comes in and says, "Hey, let me help you." Um, because both of them are minors theoretically. So I really
Yeah,
believe
but
in
Big
that
Daddy
alliance.
Russia kinda had to decide at least one front in which to expand because you're kinda running out of place to just
Really?
expand.
You think I'm running around? I
I
don't think how much you understand how much land I still need to dev and actually build. I mean, look at Nogai State 66369, 33312 in Kazakhstan. I can state a shitload of Siberia still. Like running out of land as Russia. Like I'm a full believer in you know keeping it as where it is. Really,
oh, okay,
there's
fair enough.
really no need because, like, for example, the I have a shitload of steps, and I get 15% discount on developing steps, right?
I
So
guess we'll see about your peaceful intentions.
sure, yeah. And it's just like one of those things. I think in this case, and especially like Circassia, and then even like Georgia land that was taken. But again, in this case, it doesn't matter because I'm entering into Commonwealth, right? So I expect some part of Commonwealth to be going to me. So again, that's even more states. So
Yeah, which should severely increase the amount of at least trade you're getting from Kiev, which would be
yeah,
really
I mean, it should, but we'll see what happens. So all I'm saying is that I think theoretically, if we just draw Russia as is, like this is more than enough in land because you can just state so much, and I'm still a full believer in that. So, anyways, let's go to Mughals,
fun, boys.
fun boys. So Mughals, really strong. What's to say? Yeah, Michael,
To
hold
a point.
on. 300 force limit.
Yes, but he doesn't have the manpower to replace them. Like, well, sure, now he's at 80k, but he only has 240 max.
Yes, but he has army professionalism still, and if anything, he has the economy to take mercs. So
He's using South Indian infantry throwback, but it should be
yeah,
fine.
it should be.
What's the mission? Oh, it's cavalry combat. Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, this one has more defensive pips. Definitely should be using that one. But yeah, so 465, amazing fucking ruler. I think the sub did fairly well. Not sure about the focus on admin. Should be focused on mill. I guess he's
Was
getting
he?
ready to core that stuff.
Yeah, maybe he was. Maybe he was also.
Oh,
playing
because he
the
wants
idea.
to maybe catch up in admin technology,
Yeah, he
but
was. He was late on tech.
yeah, but you can still use the points to dev. You know, it's one of those things. Um, I mean, take the corruption, use your interaction to lower it, get some money that way. But I mean, overall, 173 ducats. Definitely not as strong because he's not balls deep into India. I actually haven't looked at the country. I mean, production wise, definitely can build more. Manufactories, very. I mean, yeah. Oh my goodness. So definitely behind on that. I would have just used the sale of titles because he really needs the money. I'm not sure where the money is going or gone. Taxation isn't built out either. So the country is really underwhelmingly built, to be honest with you. It's big on paper. But because of the production and trade, but because he's still not so built out, he's going to scale very badly into late game, right? How many he like? For example, we can count the manufacturers on one hand. We're not going to go into the Kandar, not count those. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 manufacturers. So, not very
Yeah, I think
impressive.
he has mostly been trying to expand more than build.
Yeah,
More than
but
building up.
this is a mistake. He's building two more, but this is a really bad mistake because he really needs those manufacturers up and running because it will absolutely increase. I mean, yes, you can definitely expand, and he should have been expanding. Does he have Persian? Yeah, he has finally Persian accepted, which is nice. But yeah, he's a little bit behind on building. So, yeah. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Anything else about Mughals?
There's not much to say. Well, he's doing surprisingly bad in the war against Rome.
Rum has a 10% discipline mission popped.
Yeah, that hurts.
It's 105 discipline versus 120. Too much cav, by the way, on the rum side. I think a little bit expensive.
Well, on the Rome side,
Yes.
is he running? Well, he's running 17. That's not much.
Cav?
Yeah.
I mean, does he have cav ideas in his thing? No. The Ottomans do.
Yeah, but the Ottomans is running something like 8, so it's probably just something that.
No, I say the Ottomans have
the
idea.
Ottomans idea.
Yes. They have like a 20 or 30%. 20, I think.
Oh, right.
But he doesn't, and so he has. I think it's just much cheaper to do it, and you can go overboard. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. This might be a little bit problematic war for him. I mean, the Mughals also has a mission
I mean,
for camp bonus.
It's not really that problematic.
No,
He's
no,
got,
no,
like
no, no, no.
100k down in Iran, down in Iraq, which is coming around to save the day.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what. I mean, if they're doing separate wars, Ethiopia can go into Rum, and then Rum just surrenders, and for forwarding continues this war. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting, and the amount of forts is also drainage on the economy. So it's really interesting how much force he has, but his capital is wide open. Holy shit! What the fuck? It's really wide open. Not moving the capital back. It was one of the biggest mistakes. I think personally, he should move it back 100%.
It seems he's really banking on the Indians not attacking, which
Yes.
has worked out so far. To
Yes.
my
Well,
endless shame.
I think because we had a different Mughal player last session, and it was unsure if the current one's going to come back or not. So now you guys are back to where he didn't want to give any lands to the Indians. Now the Indians got land, so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in terms of the diplomacy between the Mughals and the Indians, especially with this war raging on. But again, Mughals are allied to Ethiopia, which could be interesting situation. But are Ethiopians really going to come all the way to India? And again, if Indians do attack, then they just need to take 3 forts, and that's 50 war score, and that's 50 war score right there. A war goal, and then forts, and then capital, and that's gonna hurt. That's automatically. And then if that does happen, the Indians will control a big portion of the Lahore trade, and they can put a merchant on the Lahore, and either steer it or collect it, and that will decimate his both his production, his taxation, and his trade.
Yeah.
So
Well, the other option is to just take the mountain forts.
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just take the mountain forts, but so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Anyways, let's go to Vigi. Vigi definitely going for that crown land, so he is getting ready to go for 100% and start redistribution. 234 ruler, a great economy, caught up in ideas, 177 ducats.
Well, he has taken and
Yeah, huge amount of forts as always.
And really useless forts.
Yeah,
Like,
so I think
you can
we
just skirt those through.
I
Mewar.
think I already did it before. So he's 22. He's paying 22 forts. So keeping this fort, probably deleting this fort, deleting this fort, deleting this fort. Oh, actually, probably deleting this fort. Great fort. Delete this fort. I mean, delete this great fort. Maybe. I mean, you should probably leave forts here, but delete. Wait. Sure. Delete this fort, and automatically your income falls to 15. You can even delete them even more, like just saying, and it falls to 14. So you're making eight ducats. So in a year, you're making 96 more ducats. But just, I mean, overall, they're just pretty useless forts to have.
Well, yeah, especially when to the side of them is Mewar, which is land you do not control, and an enemy can just walk through.
Yes, I agree. And this is one of those things. If just it it doesn't pay to have those forts.
It's a terrible thing. You have two neighbors. Each of those two neighbors is 1 fort away from your capital.
Yes. Yeah.
That's an issue.
Wait,
When your
for
capital is all the way down.
are you talking about Mughals?
Mughals just needs to take the fort in Daman or in Daulatabad, and he has a straight shot to Vijay's
Oh,
capital.
yeah. It's one of those
And,
things. So
if
and
for
so
some
the
reason I decided to attack him, I need to take Kamamet or Chanda, and I have a straight shot to his capital.
yep, it's one of those things. So
So you
the
have a
fort-
whole lot of forts protecting
nothing. Yeah, definitely can drop a lot, and then just drops your fixes your economy up more. But I mean, not saying he's in a bad position, but it could definitely be better.
No, he's just an absolute monster of an economy.
Yeah,
And a solid army.
yeah, very
So
solid
it's
army,
not-
very solid.
So it's not
And-
like you're desperate.
Yeah,
in
and
need
once
of
he
it.
forms Hindustan, it's going to be even more better. He has almost everything. He needs 2 provinces from you, and then he's forms Hindustan, and he's going to be in a very solid position to do whatever is needed to.
Well, he'll basically be at the first rank of basically all
Oh yeah,
nations.
oh yeah.
Quality
It's
and
very well until 1700 and or at least Tech 24, 25, and then it's gonna be back of the line. I mean,
Well,
still good
yeah, but
ideas.
Who's going to be fighting him after?
No. I will see how things go. I'm just saying that yes, for developing
Because,
wise, it's gonna be
like,
very strong.
He'll get Hindustan, which is fantastic, which are
Yes.
fantastic ideas,
Hmm.
which
Yes.
also give you minus 10% death cost. So that
Yes.
chance that goes very well for
Mhm.
later.
Mhm.
Then he's going to hit Tech 16, which is fantastic for the Indians.
Mhm.
He'll stay really strong for those techs.
What's
and
Tech
after
16?
that, Tech 16, I think it's
Tech
the
18.
new Tech 18. Sorry.
Yes. Well, I mean,
Tech
yes.
18.
So a Tech 18 is the biggest power spike Indians get. Tech 23, it's okay, but then it all downhill from there. By the way,
Yeah, but by that point,
the Chinese boys has the biggest advantage of Tech 15. That's like really huge for them. And the Tech 15, it's a little bit worse than the Indian Tech.
yeah, but-
So
okay, so he gets between Tech like 18 and 25, more or less, in order.
oh
like
no
he showed-
we are. I mean, if we're talking about, for example, Ethiopia. I mean, Mughals are also Indian Tech. But if we're talking about Ethiopia is going to be Muslim Tech, so it's not really that bad. I'm talking about. But again, it's I don't see any threat. There's no colonizing powers. There's like the situation in Europe. I think it's pretty much set.
Yeah,
Safe.
but if he does things well, he's going to become Hindustan, start gobbling up shit from anyone. Doesn't really matter where he decides to expand. And he has the money to build things up, so
Yes.
it doesn't matter if he goes into someone who's really weak and really unbuilt up, because he can just throw money at the ground.
I agree with you on this one. Anyways, let's go to you on Orissa. Almost,
Here, somebody
almost,
who is not
almost-
full of money.
yeah, almost caught up. I think in this case, and this is the saying that he should be investing some money into you as a potential ally and a buffer state, because having all of India is great, but getting the double force limit, I think play is better, unless you have some sort of a solid ally lined up that can join you in a military expansion or defensiveness. India is still vulnerable.
Well, vulnerable to whom? As long as Orissa and I don't have the worst falling off and the most stupid
You
falling
mean
off ever.
you mean
and-
Vijay?
Sorry, as long as Vijay and Orissa don't have like the most stupid of falling offs and start murdering each other with a huge Mughal at their doors,
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
like things are not going to go that way. And if Mughals gets killed, or if Vijay and Orissa actually go into Mughals and wipe that up,
Well, from
who's
you,
going
for you
threaten
wise,
Orissa? Vijay, I mean.
wow, your ideas are so good, so good.
Well,
Jesus
they're
Christ.
so good to a point. There's
Yes.
no economy, there's no development.
Yes.
There's
No, that's
so
what
they're-
that's what I'm saying. Like, for example, in this case, you'll have a really good country, which is Hindustan, and then you have the Prussia of Asia, and that's why you got to feed it, because eventually, if you run out of manpower and run out of mercs in the war, then you're fucking useless, even with your great stats.
Yeah, it's certainly not the like. I do believe I punch fairly above my weight.
Oh
but
yeah, no,
I am
definitely. I
very
mean, come
fucking
on. Yeah, of course you do. Look, you have 10% morale, 5% discipline, 5% infantry combat ability, and
Oh,
then
yes,
and then you have 10% morale in your ideas, 10%
look at
infantry
what
combat
happens.
ability.
Look at what happened when I filled the last religious idea.
What happens?
I get 5% discipline,
Oh yeah. In this case, yeah, I saw
and
that.
I finally get the 10% morale of armies. If I go at war, I can get another policy, and I get to 520 morale.
It's really scary.
And if I'm really in a scare, I can pop a mission.
Yeah, I saw I saw that. Yeah,
For
it's
565
yeah,
morale.
it's
I have almost one full morale over the next guy.
yeah, very
Really.
probably even more. It's pretty scary, not gonna lie, but we'll
And I
see.
lose anyway because
So
of
what you're saying
power.
is you gotta die now before before you grow really scary. I
What I'm saying
understand.
is,
I understand what you're aiming at. So we'll see.
what I'm saying is, Orisa is a country of war dogs, and we're selling ourselves for service.
Yeah,
We
it's
will
really
die
nice.
for money. Peace gift. Peace gift.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. Anyways, just need to catch up in ideas. Need to start deving more and building everything up, and plus consolidation of Khmer, because I believe that the player messaged me actually saying that I think he's gonna drop out of the season. He knows what's coming for him, and there's a reason why. 15 corruption, behind on ideas. At least he's not bankrupt. But that's a whole
Well,
different
if
thing,
he's
guys.
not bankrupt, he's about to be honest.
Yes, but I'm gonna say this, guys, for all the new players and stuff like that, never take corruption. Corruption increases power cost of everything, and it's even though it gives you stability and ducats, it's the autonomy goes up, all power costs go up by 15%. And it's just really bad because, like, for example, in idea wise, this is not just 80%, it's actually 23% more expensive, for example, for admin technology. So you're basically destroying this bonus all completely, and it just puts your country even further behind. And yeah, I'm not sure, it's just a newer player, he's learning how to play the game, so I'll give him that. But just for future references, guys, don't do this. And for example, interactions with the states, could have, should have, like, for example, maybe this could have been better. Yeah, so there's a lot of different things that could
Well,
have been
and
better.
Khmer is. I wouldn't take Khmer as a new player. It's really easy to fall behind on Southeastern Asian nations.
Yes,
Because
especially
you
it's
get
it's a very hard area as well.
because you
So
get the double whammy of terrible terrain types and monsoons,
yes,
and well, and you're tropical on top. So it's like just
Yeah.
keep throwing shit at it.
yeah. Anyways, we gotta start moving on.
Okay.
Anyways, Manchu recovered. Manpower is up, which is great. Country is more or less stabilized. The inflation is going down slowly, but 62 ducats looks very stable. He's actually can form. Ching. He's not the emperor, but he's got to form it soon.
Yeah, he's waiting for me to.
He needs to take the Diplo ideas because the Diplo is going to boost up his trade, which is going to be really nice. But yes,
really behind that idea.
yes, but he still needs probably another session or two to catch up, and then he needs to convert. So he's not in a very strong state. But again, what happened with him is that him and I made a deal. He gave me land for some ducats. I think I owe him a little bit more, though. I forgot because of all the Diplo shit that's going on in Europe. I forgot about it. But fort like this, I would probably maybe delete even this fort because it doesn't give you much. Definitely delete this fort, even if you're not paying for it. There's absolutely no use of them. This fort, it's maybe, I don't know. It's very spread out. Anyways, but in general, he is doing okay-ish. Needs to consolidate more and start building up.
Yeah, he has been burning a lot of admin.
Yeah. So, but anyways, more or less better recovered. Let's go look at Japan. Japan, corruption is almost none. Inflation has to be going up. I mean, down. Definitely because it increases the building cost.
This is a lot less growth than I would have expected because his income. Well, he didn't even skyrocket. Didn't he dev? No, okay, he didn't dev his
I'll
He
be
hasn't def-
right back real quick. So go ahead, continue.
yeah. So if you guys remember last session's Japan, uh, he had pretty high inflation. Inflation was removed a little and it's gone back up because 2 new gold mines has spawned by event. But he doesn't seem to have dev them much, if at all. So that's an interesting move on his end because his echo should be a little better. Could pick a reform. He should probably go States General to have the choice between the two different rulers, but you can go General Estates if you want. I wouldn't. I prefer the other option. He has been selling. His estates are set up. But yeah, basically it's a decent Japan. He's underbuilt overall. He's relatively short on things. Hasn't he built any manufacturing? None at all, it seems. That's, yeah. So this really needs building up. His economy is absolutely sad because of it. He might want to ask his ally in Madias for some at this point, because otherwise he's just going to run behind on his economy for basically the rest of the game and will never manage to build up.
What's up?
You there?
Yes, now I'm back.
It's really behind. It's really not built up. His gold mines aren't developed up.
Oh yeah, he got gold mines. Yeah.
Yeah, because he gets 2 gold.
I mean,
mines
he got the gold mine is 7.5 ducats, and what other?
He gets one in Ichigo and one in
Oh, the other one isn't. Yeah, it's one thing.
like 9 and 7 dev. So either he hasn't dev them or he hasn't dev them much. He has no manufacturers, which is huge.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's where the big inflation comes in, is that it's 20% more expensive to build those, and so it's a little bit problematic.
Yeah, but it kind of fits into itself because he hasn't built them. He has no money to build.
Yes. This is exactly when your ally Medias comes in. So let's go to Medias and see what the situation is with him. I actually haven't looked at the save at all. I mean, 116 ducats, pretty good. Knowledge share, he's getting knowledge share from Japan, so that is actually getting drained. Hold on, I got.
It seems the doggy has been doing its things. Like, there's not much to say about Madias. It's huge. It has a massive. Well, it doesn't have that big an income. 116 is less than I would expect. It's not actually getting subsidies. What's its trade situation? It's collecting Laka, so it's not actually giving any trade. Okay, so they haven't actually set up the trade network with the Netherlands.
Yeah, so there's absolutely nothing there in terms of the trade network. But again, I'm not sure exactly what is happening. Maybe that trade is going to be going into Europe.
But I expect it was for Madias to push the trade into the Cape of Good Hope and then that Cape.
Yeah, I think that area is now going to the Dutch. That's why I completely didn't understand the alliance. So maybe they're just going to be taking all that trade and pushing it all the way to Europe and doing that.
Yeah, that's what I thought would happen, but they aren't doing it.
Not yet, maybe. I'm not sure exactly because there are Netherlands does wield some power, trade power in Malacca, but I'm not sure exactly what they're going to be doing it. But definitely is possible. So we'll
the only thing that makes me really happy is I didn't realize this at the time. I should have. I went to war with Sukhothai, and since I didn't want to take the province because be nice to Khmer and whatever, so I asked it to steer trade, which means it's steering all my trade power from Orissa.
Yeah, it's one of those little things. If
Maria was not particularly amused by that.
Yes. Probably not, but there you go. Ducats are ducats.
Yay.
By the way, the Philippines are actually all no upgrades of train centers in the Philippines. So
there's surprisingly little in the way of manufacturers. Yes.
Yeah, it's not very. This is what, like, for in terms of
I mean,
mean,
he's got at least one manufacturer at
it's Tech
52, though.
Tech 14 that he needs to do it. But that's only one, and the other ones is
Okay, yeah, he's
Lothian.
got that.
Oh, Lothian. I see. Yeah, it's in Scotland. Okay, yeah, yeah. He still needs to do a lot of colonizing. It's kind of I think he's colonizing wise. I'm not sure. Is he behind on colonizing?
Well, he's only got an exploration, so that explains what his
Yeah, I mean,
colonization.
he went for maritime naval ideas, which is fucking amazing, and then he made peace with the Netherlands. So I really don't see the point of
I
this
think I
combination.
think they thought attacking England would be a lot harder than it was.
Yeah, but so great. So is he gonna drop something or no? I think now this is a complete waste if he's gonna with the only other naval power he's gonna be allied with. So this is I don't agree with this
Well,
set
to be
at all.
honest, it's a waste anyway, because the other naval power has quality Eco Explo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, so now,
I think I
so
think they were
now,
expecting that Malias would have to, be the muscle in the relationship, and muscle was just not.
yeah.
Well, especially because do remember that Porto was relatively aggressive towards Malias.
Was he?
So yes, Porto was really big diplomacy with the Asian guys.
Yeah, I think we're gonna switch now, going to the new world.
Yes, probably expecting.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those things is that the sleeping we're gonna go sleeping giant, and the sleeping giant is still big diplomacy, but I think in this case this is. I mean, the Felspite is notoriously known for expanding into the new world, and I think with they can still do a lot of damage to them, like for example, colonizing Galapagos Islands, and then just having the naval capabilities of transporting things and maybe fighting for Alaska. Because if the
Look
Japanese
at
do
look
get,
at Sleeping Giant. They can probably just fight for Mexico
well, no,
straight up.
Japan is Tech 11 mil.
Okay. Sleeping Giant is Tech 8. It's Tech 12. Okay, it's Tech 8
Yeah,
admin, but Tech 12.
yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of
I mean,
catching up to do.
Sleeping Giant has like what 46K troops. Like even with behind on tech on Miltech, you can just swamp it.
Yeah.
What is he going to do
Is
regular?
there not a lot of I guess you can do marine stuff like that. Yeah, it's one of those things is that you gotta give him time, but he can form a lot of. I guess he's going for the
Definitively Texas.
where is Texas?
Wait, why can't he not? Not showing up.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe it's
Is
one
he?
of those glitch things. Maybe something is missing. But at the same time, he can even like say Mexican nation.
Maybe he doesn't have all the provinces he needs, and that's why it's not
No,
showing.
like for example, he can form the Cuban nation, but he's missing those. Is he missing? No, he at least has parts. I don't know. It's interesting. So maybe one of the audience will
What's the Rio Grande region?
definitely tell us. But anyways, yeah. So Sleeping Giant, we're gonna have some new world powers, because there's gonna be no 13 colonies. There's gonna be not a lot of colonial nations here. Spain is colonizing something. But anyways, yeah, it's gonna be Norway has something, but it's gonna be mostly show of a Sleeping Giant and Brazil.
Yeah, the
Maybe
Portugal player exiled himself.
yeah, but one of those things which I think is interesting is that even if you have all of that, the transportation to your European theater or Asian theater, it's going to be impossible if he's not allied to any of the naval powers. And transporting troops is going to cost a lot of manpower. And New World is notoriously bad for manpower deving. So, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not.
well, I mean, if you're in the new world, you
I guess
always
you're
kind
gonna
of.
be. I guess you're gonna be production centers, but this it's still a long, maybe 150 years to go before you're
Yeah,
actually
but
worth something.
we need to see if they actually make it 100.
Yes, yes, we'll see. Maybe the Netherlands and the Medias will eat more of the New World, which would make sense.
Well, Japan is already getting into there in Alaska.
Yes, but he's really behind, so it's gonna take a while. Anyways, let's go to Brazil. Brazil. Also 70, 666 ruler, expansion ideas, quantity ideas, econ ideas. So he's going at it. Again, gonna take a long time, but he can definitely do it. Silver Mountains. I think in this case, a lot of times Brazil are real.
Wait, why does Brazil not have a first?
South Texas. What? Oh, I see. Mm-hmm. Are they
I'd
going
say
for?
this is yeah, okay. So Brazil is doing a thing which is that if you are a democracy and you lose your first tier reform, you don't actually pick one.
Mm-hmm.
Should we consider that an exploit? Because it's a way of circumventing the absolutism
Yes.
penalties. Of
Yes, we
democracies.
should consider this an exploit.
Okay, then I'll write to the Brazil player and
Yeah,
know
this
that
is
he
this
actually
this
doesn't have to pick one.
even though it's not on the list, it's definitely not how the
Well,
game
the list
should be
is not
worked.
it's non-exhaustive. So
Yeah, we should definitely add
not
that and fix it up. So because I think as Palantiri said about, I think I don't know if it was about rule breaks or cheating. It's like he had a really good analogy which I really enjoyed. But yeah, needs to definitely colonize more. They can do a lot of things. So, but it's gonna take time.
well, his income is already looking pretty good at
Yes,
72
it should be
Valencios.
about 300, 400. Really depends who controls Colombia, because they can if the naval nations can definitely. I mean, Cuba, not Colombia, Cuba, they can take a lot of trade away from Brazil. All the trade. So he's going to be having many factories, but again, playing in the new world, if you have no way of transporting troops to the old world, is gonna be bad for you.
Well, well, in general, not having naval power to protect you if you are in the new
Yeah,
world
so
is
it makes you
really
kind of
bad.
worthless. You're there, but you're just playing single player.
Yeah,
So
well, part of the issue in single player is that there's not really any good naval tag in the new world.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
because there is a naval tag in the Caribbean. I think it's West Indies or something, but it's absolute shit.
yeah,
So you don't actually want to farm it. And the one that actually does have fantastic ideas is Alaska, which means you don't want to farm it because Alaska is a shitty region to be in.
yeah. So we'll see what happens, but I don't know what the guys in the new world are planning, because unless they get some sort of an in, maybe with Portugal. But even like somebody attacks Portugal, there's no way for them to actually protect this land. So I don't know. No way to lose it,
I
no
don't
way to protect it.
maybe talk to Madias and try to have Madias not support Japan.
I mean, sure, but in the long run, Japan is going to give all his trade to Medias anyways, and Medias needs somebody as a military power. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
It's
know,
we'll see.
just tell
We'll see.
Madias
We'll
the
see how
idea
the
that
diplomacy. Yeah, we'll see how
yeah.
diplomacy goes. We don't know 100%. Yeah. Anyways, so let's wrap it up. Anything else to add or say?
Seems good to me.
Yeah.
I think we've covered it all.
Yeah. Anyways, so thank you for joining me. It was great to have you again, and hopefully, we will have a great session next time. I will not be here. I'm gonna have a sub, and yeah. So have fun tomorrow.
So yeah.
Bye bye, guys. Thank you for watching.